there's tremendous value in the lifting up of each other, right? Because you know that they're doing the same for you. And I think that's one of the greatest things about this program is that it's a societal change around how do we lift men up and make them in a safe and in the best way possible, make them stronger, make them better leaders, better fathers, better husbands, better friends.
Gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the TPM Show. We are still at the TPM Ranch, still at the Legends event, still having a great time. It's epic growth, epic adventure with epic men, and it just keeps continuing. And I got two such legends back on the couch here to have a conversation with us. And I love the topic, and I think you will too. Guys, just thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being you.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
Two of my favorite people. You know?
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you say that to the last four people that were here?
Probably.
Right. You're my favorite.
But I mean it for you guys.
Yeah. You're my favorite.
Yeah. But I mean it. Jokes aside, but of course I know you guys will definitely have some laughs during this. Dave, you had a great topic that you wanted to throw on the table.
Yeah, no, I think what this event has highlighted for me is really the importance of being able to create bonds and continue bonds with other guys, right?
Yeah.
Especially with guys that you can have conversations with that you might not otherwise with your drinking buddies or your golf buddies or, the other people that are maybe in your local area or around your house, right? So it really has meant a lot to me to be able to get to know these guys and have more meaningful conversations about things that really matter.
Yeah, I mean, the house right next to us, we're in the studio right now, which is detached from the house. And we got 16 guys total here, 17 with Mr. C sitting over here at the control board. And the conversations that have been happening and the joking and the laughter and the banter has been amazing. And I really appreciate it. I was reflecting on this earlier today, is when you came and assisted at the Alpha Reset, right? And then one of my favorite parts of that was going to the Metolius River and you, Mark Smith, and I going for a walk.
Yeah.
And just naturally, having some conversations over some ciders, walking along and just talking about life and whatever came up. Here's some dreams I have that are kind of crazy. Here's a business idea. Here's something that's happening with a girl I'm dating, or here's something that's happened with my wife, or whatever it is. How natural those conversations go. I always joke with people, and you guys let me know what you think, is, with men of your caliber, you're at the top of the food chain. So that sounds bad, but you're at the top of the tree, if you will, in the world. You just are. You're business leaders. You're super smart guys. And at the same time, I can walk into the room and there'll be fart jokes going on. And then literally it's like that. And it's a deep subject, right? And it can change on a dime when that deep subject is like a guy's going, hey, one of my kids is suicidal, or I'm having a business problem, or I have a dream. What do you guys think? And that level of love and support that comes in with that group is awesome.
Yeah. We were just on the deck earlier, right before we walked in here, and we went from, I think we were talking about kids and relationships and went right into talking with Honey Badger about consulting, or just in talking about all kinds of different facets of that. And okay, what scares you about it? What excites you about it? What are the different facets of it and how you might approach it? And I talked about some things I've talked about as far as consulting goes. And it's just, you're exactly right, Doug. It can go a lot of different directions, and there's always a little comedic relief mixed in.
Yep.
Which makes it fun for all of us. But it's, for me, having that level of trust and being in line and in conversation and in brotherhood with other guys that are doing the work and are excited about growing and learning new things, and getting out of the silo, I call it, and doing things like this, getting away. I mean, I came across the country for this, and it's being able to unplug and, there's been a few work things going on, but still be for all of us, I think, at one point or another today.
Yeah.
But that's all part of it too. And talking through those things that come up,
Yeah.
and having that trust built that it's not going anywhere else. Everybody here has your best interest in mind, and will give you honest feedback.
Yep. That's the key.
And they'll call you out.
I was going to speak to that too. I think people ask how and why, and I think it's because everyone here is their authentic self.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have people that have learned how to they've learned how to peel away the masks and peel away all the pretenses and just be able to talk for real. Right. Mm-hmm. And yet, to your point, have a fart joke and then be like, man, I heard about what happened with your family last week. How's everything going?
Yeah.
And people, they know that you care even when, the topic changes and the mood changes and all those things. It's just great to know that people, are being themselves when we're all together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We're human, right? We all have real things happening, right? Losses of family members, losses of relationships, kids going through things, or just personal, demons that boil to the surface. Mm-hmm. And I think, you guys have been through a crucible, right, of sorts, going through the activation method, going through the alpha reset. You guys have been to a ton of different events. I mean, you've been in the movement for years at this point. Yeah. And I keep saying this, but what makes you guys legends to me isn't just the work that you guys do. It's the fact that you continue to look behind you and pull more men through and say, hey, man, I got you. Right. To me, that's what a real legend is. That's what mastery is it's easy to look above you, ahead of you, and go, okay, I see that guy. He's got a little bit more of this, that, the other, or something I want. Mm-hmm. Let me attach to him. But what makes you guys legends to me, in my own mind and my heart, is the fact that both of you guys will look back and go, okay, let me make sure I'm also helping the guy behind me, making sure he's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody did that for us, back when we first started.
Yeah.
The countless people that would ask you questions. I remember one of the very first events that I went to, and one of the first questions was, how are people feeling? And somebody said, I don't feel like I belong. Right?
I remember that.
And you said, who else here doesn't feel like they belong? And I raised my hand. Mm-hmm. And the guy right next to me, who happens to be here, is about 6'10". Exactly. He looked down on me and said,
gee, I wonder who that is.
You fucking belong here. That was,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, if he says it, then it must be true.
Yeah.
Those sorts of moments where, you realize it really is an open place for you to kind of come in and be welcomed.
Yeah.
So we need to pass that on too.
Yeah. And it's doing the reps, right? I remember starting in the activation method and I was like, all right, I'm all in. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it well, even though I'm scared to death, and peel back the onion. But I remember those first few calls, and they were, I don't want to say they were terrifying. They weren't terrifying, but I just didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what to expect coming up, what was bubbling up for me. I didn't know how to journal. I didn't know how to, reflect and do all these different things. I'm like, what are you talking about? Just because I wasn't raised that way, and not because somebody was hiding something from me. It's just a generational thing that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's learning those tools and knowing that you've got a group in your corner that's working on the same types of things and sharing different ideas on, hey, hey, I really like this. Could be yoga or breath work or journaling or this book. I mean, we've talked about how many different books today. Mm-hmm. Or a podcast. This one being at the top of the list, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's just all sharing those ideas is invaluable, and it's exciting. And now that it's been several years, those bonds have done nothing but the roots have just grown deeper.
Yeah.
And we've been in the trenches a while now, mm-hmm. and it's things are going to come up. Life happens, and it's nice to know that. And I mean, Dave and several others are I know I can pick up the phone. I spend a lot of time in the vehicle, in the car, traveling for work and different things. And I'm not sending out emails for a Zoom call. I just pick up the phone. And sometimes I catch them. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I catch them. I'll catch somebody and it might be a 15-minute phone call. And it's exactly what I needed at that point in the day or the week or the month. That helps me through something.
Yeah.
And or something I've got on my mind or something they've got on their mind. And it's I'm happy to reciprocate too. Not just to talk, but to listen. And it's exciting. It's fun.
You've always been great at that. I mean, I can speak as someone, you know, in the seat that I sit in, right? It's a little bit different. But I remember the last time I was walking on the ranch, I know exactly where I was where I got a text from you. Just reaching out, checking in. And it was some funny little thing, you know, but like also like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
You know, and I know you so well. I know it's from the heart, but it was also just reaching out,
Yeah.
right? And it's just the right thing, the right time. A lot. No coincidences in this game, what we call life.
Yeah.
And it's just a perfect thing to do.
Yeah.
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 And we were talking earlier about, you know, well, what do you guys think? So women tend to bond really easily and really well. At least that's my perception of it, you know, or easier. For some women, it's very difficult, right? There's no doubt about that. Why is it important for guys to have those bonds?
You know, as we've gone through the activation method and the Brotherhood and learned a lot of the things that we've learned about being vulnerable and, you know, being open and authentic, I think there are still things that as men, we don't necessarily think we should share, whether it might be something that might scare them unnecessarily or whatever it might be. And a lot of times, having a guy that you know that you can talk to about that isn't going to judge you. It isn't going to change their perception of you, right? They're just gonna validate, like, man, that sounds really tough. What are you doing about it, right?
Yeah.
Or how can I help? You know, those sorts of things that really make it, you know, easier. Like having relationships like that with people like we do, where we certainly give each other enough crap about everything, you know, but we also know that when things are serious, you know, we've had 911 calls where, you know, this is going really, really sideways and I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
You know, I need you to talk me off the ledge. Not literally, but, you know,
Yeah.
that's just something so valuable that I haven't really had in my life. And those are things that I may not necessarily want to share with my wife. Not that I don't want to, you know, she's probably going to watch this. I want to share everything with you, honey. I promise. But you know, that's the reality. We need other people to talk to besides just our partners.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we look at the male-female differential, right? There's something. So I grew up in Orange County, California, right? You guys all know where that is. But there's some nuances about Orange County that you'll never understand because you never grew up there. There's some nuances about being a man, a lot of them, that women will never understand, and will never understand about women, right? Because they've never had to walk that walk or walk in those shoes. You guys are both business leaders. You guys are both men. You know, there's a lot more commonalities than not. And you both have shown up consistently and done the work, right? Peeling back the layer, getting to know yourself, getting to know others, and doing the work that allows you to have those conversations. We had a great, well, at least for me, it was a great conversation in the truck about our relationships, right? With our partners.
Yeah.
And how that was going. And you just don't, even myself, I don't have those conversations as much. And when I put those out there sometimes, they're not received because people feel uncomfortable all of a sudden.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that conversation. And it's really exciting when you can, I mean, I celebrate that for you and for me. But to be able to have those, have that level of depth in a romantic relationship is amazing. And another thing that I've really leaned into is I call it my team, you know, and obviously my girlfriend is on my team. My kids are on my team, you know, some of the obvious things. And my parents are on my team. Well, my dad now, but, you know, there's other people in place there too, that I have on that list that short list that I think about, and I have it right on my vision board at work. And hey, these are people that I know have my back, and I know I've got theirs, and we've been doing the dance for a while. And
I want to buy you a gift. Look, if your marriage is struggling, and let's be real, every marriage struggles at some point, but yours is struggling where you've lost that love, admiration, respect, I want to help you. I want to buy you a copy of the book that I wrote, A Man's Guide on How to Save Your Marriage Without Talking About It. In here, I've distilled over 8 years of programs that we've developed at TPM to help men just like you save their marriages without talking about it. There's no fluff, no BS. It's an action plan that you can start using today to actually save your marriage and bring that love and respect back into your family, back into your house. You deserve it. Look, all I ask is you pay the postage, you pay the shipping, I'll buy the book for you. That way you can take massive action today. Click the link or find it in the bio and get your copy now.
If I'm just not feeling well or have something pressing, like you talked about the 911 call, or just stressed out, or even better, something you want to celebrate.
Celebrating a win. Yeah, absolutely.
Celebrating the wins, which is, I mean, everybody rooting for each other is just it's a powerful thing. And it's the positivity builds a lot of momentum, and being around that energy that you want it makes a big difference for the other people that might not be on your team, but you're around every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's your coworkers or, people you're seeing at the gym or clients or whatever it might be, makes a difference.
I think it does. I think you touched on a really important point that we don't talk about much, is one of the things, and maybe we don't do it because it's not my frame of reference anymore, but like you and I were in the call, and you and I have had in the truck having a conversation. You and I have had these types of conversations before, where you were asked, "Hey, like, how are you and Aaron doing?" My wife.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, honestly, it is amazing." You're like, "I love that for you." I go, "How are you doing?" And I go, we were celebrating each other. You're like, "We're doing so well. This is what's going on." And it wasn't from envy, right? And even if my marriage wasn't doing well, I would still celebrate you, and vice versa. So it's not we might want something somebody has, like, "Oh, that's cool. I want a little bit more of that."
Yeah.
But we always celebrate the guy, and it comes from a genuine place of happiness for everybody. Now you got 16 men, 17 with Colton. I keep forgetting Colton here, that are all celebrating each other, right? And then you multiply that out as you go out, but just within this event with the legends, that's something just so special that I don't think many people have ever experienced.
Yeah.
Right? It's usually conditional, like, "Oh, you're ahead of me." Or, "Oh, you're doing well and I'm not doing well in that area. Oh, I don't like you now." Or, "I'm envious or jealous." And you never see that here, ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think societally you have a lot of, I want to be better than you. And as guys, we're all competitive. We have all those things, driving us.
The workout this morning was fun.
The workout this morning, yeah. I was trying to beat a guy that was 20 years younger than me and probably almost, pulled a hamstring, but anyway, we digress. But I think that there's tremendous value in the lifting up of each other, right? Because you know that they're doing the same for you. And I think that's one of the greatest things about this program is that it's a societal change around how do we lift men up and make them in a safe and in the best way possible, make them stronger, make them better leaders, better fathers, better husbands, better friends,
especially just in the last 20 years or whatever, in the midst of the fire hose of information that gets just blown at us every day from every direction. Having the genuine team, having the genuine relationships, having those people in your corners, it's invaluable. It's invaluable.
It is. And to the point of this episode, having men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I think a lot of guys have had experiences with other men, whether it be when they were younger or at our age, have put them back and created a story where, hey, guys aren't safe, right? If I share this with a guy, he's going to put me down, take advantage of me,
Right.
discount me, lie to me, cheat to me. You know, I hear these stories all the time, as you can imagine. And then to realize, oh, it doesn't have to be that way. And then experience it. It's easy to hear it, right? Hearing it's one thing, but when you actually experience, like what Dave said to you in Cuba,
You belong here.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and you believe him, like he said emphatically. I know
You
Dave.
scared me so about it, actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And it's doing the reps, right?
100%.
It's doing the reps. It's doing the reps. You know, when Dave said it to you immediately, you probably still had a little doubt there. But after a couple days went by and now a couple years have gone by, you know, I'm certainly hopeful that we all feel a little bit better about all that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
In building these bonds. I mean, relationships are what it's all about.
It's interesting, like as guys have come to this, and I've done some research on this too with some things that I'm doing, and all men want to have relationships with other guys, and we all have the same fears.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's that, you know, what could happen? Like, what's the worst case? Instead of like, what could I really positively get out of having a meaningful relationship with somebody and being able to actually say what's on my mind and be authentic and not be judged, right? Which is the biggest thing.
Yes.
For me, and I'm sure for most guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that judgment piece.
Well, we talked about it. So we said, we didn't talk about attention, but I asked everybody, I had all you guys sit on the couch, right? And I asked everybody, you know, what do you want to get out of this? And I asked everybody through the app as well, what do you want to get out of this? And almost everybody had the same thing. Hey, let's have fun to get to know everybody. But then everybody started getting a little more real. I don't know if you guys sensed that. It started to get a little bit more real. And a lot of people had that, hey, I used to have this apprehension around sharing parts of me because I could get rejected. I could get, what are they going to think about me? Oh my gosh, what I'm thinking so silly. You know, it's crazy. And we're all crazy in the best way. I don't want to hang out with anybody who's not a little crazy, right? I really don't. I don't have time for that boring. And so when you realize that, you're able to share your dreams and aspirations, your goals, and your hardships with men around there. That is where the real fruit is within the whole relationship. So what would you say to, I see both of you guys this, a guy listening to this is like, this sounds great, but in my area, there's no guys like this, or I don't know anybody that can have a conversation like this, or I can't do this because ...
Well, number one, I would say get online and go to thepowerfulman.com and at least start having some conversations, right, to find out. But there are groups, there are men's groups in lots of different places.
Yep.
You know, there's a void of social opportunities for guys to get together. And the level of loneliness for men is increasing. It's not decreasing. Right. So it's getting harder and harder for guys to have those conversations. And the reality is more people out there are pulling for you and want good for you than the alternative. And knowing that and reaching out, maybe you can't join the Powerful Man right now, but you know, there are other resources available to you to get out there and at least take a risk, take a chance. And maybe you find somebody that you can just sit and have a coffee with, you know, and talk about a few different things and maybe something grows from there. You just never know until you try.
Yeah, I think I'd even take it a little bit more grand, and I agree with all that. That's really good, but just taking
and
thank you.
I was going to say it. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it.
And just in your day to day, you know, taking those little risks that, you know, in sharing just a little something with somebody, try it on. And it doesn't have to be your deepest, darkest secrets and fears, but just try it on and truly have the awareness around it. Okay, I shared this with Doug today, and what happened? How did he receive it? How did I feel afterwards? It sounds a little hokey. Might sound like I'm in a psychotherapy session, which maybe we are. But it's, just try that on and taking those little baby steps. When I started my activation method, I was shut down. I mean, shut down. And it was a little better after the first week and a little better after the second week. And now it's 5 years later and the world is a different place. And it's just that slow opening, and just taking little risks along the way. But being cognizant and being aware of it, and just keep going. Because, I've always found when you give something to someone, especially when it's a feeling, right? Yeah. Or something that's valuable to you in your heart, a lot of times you're going to get something back. And if you open that up a little bit with somebody that they might be hurting too, and then you get into something with somebody that really makes a difference for both of you, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's got depth.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, both your ideas are fantastic, and I said this on the last episode as well. Is it doesn't have to be TPM. I say that all the time because I don't want it to sound self-serving. There's a free application way to get into the app. I know you guys love the app. There's a free way to get into there. But one of the reasons we went with the app that we went with is it's got a way to locate people near you.
Yeah.
Right. And that was one of the, hey, how do we find
that
people near me?
Yep.
We have free ways for guys to get into the app. There's communities in there that are absolutely free, no charge. But I will say it's kind of like playing pickup basketball versus being on a basketball team. There's just more commitment at certain levels of investment in time, investment in money and capital. Like people are more committed at higher levels. But there's also free Facebook groups. There's meetup.com. There's ways to find your community. And which is funny because it's kind of one of the reasons Tim and I connected, over 8 years ago. We're finding mutual interests. And we didn't meet for a while. Like it was a year or two before we actually met in person. And then you build those bonds. So it doesn't, their whole idea like, there's no one near me. That could be true. But that's not an excuse in this day and age with technology the way it is. I mean, all three of us live in different parts of the United States, where it's not like, you're not blocks away from each other down the street for barbecues.
Right.
Yet the connection's always there. I see you guys, and I feel like I saw you like a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
And I just pick up, for me at least, pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
And, you catch up and, you do your things.
Yeah.
It's just that level of bond to a man listening to this right now, that is available to you. But you have to take action. You can't sit on your couch, cracking a beer, watching TV, waiting for that person to walk through your door.
Yeah. I think about, I hate to keep going back to the pre-activation method, but it's real.
Yeah.
And that was literally like 4.5, not even 5 years ago. Not even 5 years ago. And I have a lot of old, great friends. Yeah. Like relationships that I've had a long time. But I mean, and some of the guys even here, I knew, but I didn't know real well. I obviously didn't know them right the first day I started.
Sure.
In this group, but and some that are even here, I've just gotten to know a lot better over the last year. So this isn't something. We're not old high school buddies that have been doing this for 25 years. This is, in the big scheme of things, it's all new.
Yes.
But to your point, the depth is something that I'm truly grateful for.
I think the pre-activation method versions of us, is what the lion's share of your podcast listeners and viewers probably where they are, right? Where they're feeling like there's something missing, right? Whether it's in their marriage or just in general in their life. And we all had to take a leap. For me, it was hearing your voice in an ad where it was, you can save your marriage without talking about it. For me, that was like, okay, because talking about it is absolutely at the bottom of the list of things I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, but that sounds really good. And, you know, reaching out online to a completely random website to, you know, I took just a huge risk. And for me at the time, that was a really big risk. And now 4 years later, I have the deepest, most meaningful relationships, you know, that I've ever had. I also have really good long-term friends, right? But a lot of times those friendships we're hanging out for beers, you know, we're playing some golf, and that's great. And everybody should have those friends. But, you know, I want to level up in my life, and having friends like JT and the guys that are here helps me to do that, right? And that was just by reaching out and being vulnerable and sharing a little bit about what I'm dealing with, and them kind of helping push me along to do more and do better. So
I love that. You can't take everybody with you, you know, and not everybody wants to go anyway.
Right.
You know, I've got a friend who I've known since kindergarten. We're as close as you can possibly be, right? He's done the activation method. And he's like, man, I want to go with you to Cuba, or I want to go with you to Breckenridge or Napa. I'm like, dude, come along and join this group. Well, I don't know, just was with them because I came down to see my mom before she passed away. And I'm like, man, you got to get involved. Like, this is a great group of guys. And his wife was with me, and she looks at me and goes, he has a hall pass anytime. You know, like, the women
a hall pass or a hall pass? Just check it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just the first version.
Fortunately.
All right.
Or fortunately.
Got it.
But to come to the ranch, come to the events and get involved. And there's some trepidation there. There's some trepidation. And I think a lot of men listening to this, like, right, I call it like Doug 1.0, have that trepidation. Like, will they reject me? And then I would start making up excuses. Well, you know, these guys have done it for 5 years. They've known each other. Well, to JT's point, you know, you've been involved in the movement for 5 years, but you haven't known all these guys. Mike D, for almost everybody.
I've known him for 15 minutes.
15 minutes,
Right.
yeah, exactly. But
He's been in the program for 10 years, 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And he took a hiatus, right, from being in the community itself. And I think you'll find, you guys know this as well as I do, by the end of this experience, we're on day one. Right? At the end of this experience, you guys will know Mike D very well and feel close. It's because when you surround yourself with men going in a similar direction who are open, receptive to it, and you're working towards a commonality, you build those bonds. And with that comes trust, right? You get your reps in with each other, caring, and you realize, wow, this guy actually cares. And they stick around. It's just amazing. Both of you guys have just gigantic hearts. It's just so awesome to see. You know, I've been able to walk alongside and see version 1.0, version 2.0, and version 3.0 of you guys. I just want to give you guys a compliment of continually doing the work. It's very easy to think you've arrived, right? Very easy to think you've arrived. And that's teenager syndrome, right? A teenager thinks they've done all the work. A teenager thinks they know better. A teenager thinks they know everything.
They got it all figured out.
And that's the most dangerous thing in business in your life to be in. And yet you guys keep showing up to do the reps and keep working. And not many people do. So thank you guys for being lighthouses, as we say, and shining brightly so other people can see how the work can be done. And also for cracking funny jokes. I mean, I've laughed more in this last 24 hours than I have in a while. So it's been a lot of fun. So I really appreciate both of you guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Doug.
you, Doug.
Yeah.
This is keep up the good work. This is good. This is important.
And thank you to Colton.
And Colton.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colton. You're the best.
Colton's got
Make us look good, Colton.
Yeah.
done. Come on.
Perfect.
Gentlemen, I always say in the moment of insight, take massive action. Here you have two guys that didn't know each other before. And a lot of times as men, we feel like we're isolated or on an island, right? It's easy to feel that way. And happens to men all the time. We go into our cave and we think, oh, I'm not going to call this person or that person, or there's nobody in my area. Well, this is my call out to you to take action, whether it be calling some buddies, whether it be going online to the community, whether it be going to the app, whether it be getting on a call with one of our advisors to see if the powerful man's right for you. Whatever that may be, do something, guys. This is your sign. If you've been waiting for a sign, been waiting for the coach to put you in the field to play, This is your time. Take some action. It's not as scary as you think. Well, it's scary, but it's not as bad as you think. On the other end, at least with TPM, you're going to find a lot of receptive men, very smart men, very accomplished men, but very open and loving guys who love their families, love their communities, and love what we're doing by getting better together. So just do something and make the world a better place. You deserve more than average. It doesn't have to be the way it is right now. See you next time on the TPM Show.